What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And for anyone that is new here, my name is Garrett and I invite you to hit the subscribe button, join the family, be part of the first 100,000 subscribers on this channel. That is our goal as of right now. We're getting so close. So with your support and your help, we will reach that goal. So for the people that are new here, my name is Garrett, like I said, and I am currently an airline pilot. I've been an airline pilot for coming up on almost 4 years now, and I've been flying since I was 18 years old. Currently 27, about to be 28. I feel the age coming on. 30 is just around the corner, but I'm here to help you guys get to that goal of where you want to be into aviation. And that's what this channel is about. Whether it's lifestyle, travel, or aviation, I'm here to help you and bring you value. So with the current situation that's going on in the year of 2020, I know a lot of people, I've been getting flooded with DMs on Instagram, which would be a great time to tell you guys to check me out on Instagram. It's Fly with Garrett, on there every single day. But I've been getting flooded with DMs of, Garrett, should I still become an airline pilot? Should I still become a pilot? Should I quit flight training? Am I wasting my money? And that's what I'm here to help you guys with, and ways to get to the airlines if that is your end goal. So long story short, should you still be a pilot? And I think so, yes. The only reason why anything would change, 2020 would change that outcome of whether you should be a pilot or not, is because maybe you had a health incident that doesn't allow you to obtain a first-class medical anymore. And you only need a first-class medical if you're an airline pilot. So as I've talked about in numerous videos before, there are so many different ways you can make a career in aviation, and not even just flying, you know, just on the management side of things or airport operations. So many different ways you can be a part of the aviation family without actually flying airplanes. So let me break down why I think that you should still be a pilot and ways of building your hours to become an airline pilot if that is your end goal. So whether you're just starting your private pilot's license, you're almost done, you're working on your instrument rating, I believe that you should still continue, getting your ratings, obtaining your certificates, because although I know it can be extremely intimidating, you see these thousands and thousands of pilot furloughs and flight attendants. It's very scary seeing the airline world, the aviation world just kind of crumble right in front of you, especially when you're just getting started, because just, a little over a year ago, you saw this fabulous career, this amazing life, the lifestyle that comes along with it, in this flourishing career that all these young pilots were, getting into. Because there was such a pilot shortage, there were such big signing bonuses, it was very appealing. And I know so many people stopped their career, whether they're in their late 20s, 30s, or even 40s, they saw this flourishing pilot career and they wanted to be a part of it. And I completely understand, especially if aviation is something that you genuinely love. I try and bring as many people into it as possible, but you have to be in love with aviation to really want to make a career out of it. You can't chase the lifestyle, the money, the free flights. Like, you have to genuinely love it to make it worthwhile. So whether that's the reason why you got into it, it seems very intimidating. Like I said, seeing the kind of aviation network just crumble right in front of you, but keep in mind, this is temporary. Although a lot of business travelers won't, maybe return at the rate that they were, because a lot of people say, oh, we can just do Zoom calls and such. The aviation world, the traveling rate will still come back. The passenger count, it will come back. Although it does say it could take 2 to 3 years, but it will be back and that flourishing career will return. So let's take that 2 to 3 year mark to say that we are back at the 2019 numbers, which the 2019 numbers were the highest numbers the airline world has ever seen. TSA reported the highest passengers through security. Airlines reported the highest ticket sales. It was just a wonderful, wonderful year for the airline industry, as many other industries. But to get back to those 2019 numbers, it's going to take a few years. So let's say you're just starting out. You're working on your private pilot certificate. It's going to take some time to get all those ratings before you get into that airline world, until you're ready to be a regional airline pilot or a cargo pilot for UPS or FedEx or whatnot. So with that being said, you have so much time and the industry has so much time to recover and get back to normal. And the reason why I say don't stop, don't give up is because think about this. The airlines just furloughed thousands of people, okay? Because the demand just isn't there to have those pilots there, being paid, their minimum guarantee every single month when they're not even flying at all. So they furloughed those pilots with the intent of bringing them back, within maybe a year or two at most. And nobody's getting hired in front of you at all. So that's the biggest thing in the airline world, which I've preached about this so many times, is seniority is everything. And you have that perfect opportunity to get all your ratings, to get all your flight time, and nobody's going in front of you. There is not a single seniority number that is getting hired in front of you at the airline industry. I just saw FedEx is getting ready to start hiring a lot. So if cargo is your route, yes, some people will go in front of you, but for the most people, cargo is not the route that they want to go, which there's nothing against it at all. I've considered it numerous times. It's a beautiful, flourishing career. You can make so much money in the cargo world. You don't have the flight benefits of, getting to ride first class and stuff like that. But you still have an amazing career. You're flying airplanes, which is what you should really get into aviation for, the love of flying. If you're wanting to be a pilot, you have to love flying, period, end of story. So you have all this time, all these years, your 2 to 3 years to get all your ratings, to really double down, triple down, and hustle and get those flight hours. So that kind of brings me to the next point of how can you get flight time? Now, I've been a big proponent of kind of advertising ATP, which I have no affiliation with them at all. I just always see ATP as the fastest track humanly possible to get all your ratings from 0 to your ATP, your airline transport pilot certificate. So I always saw ATP being the best program when it comes to speed. Now, not necessarily information and things that you'll learn, because I believe that going to an aviation university is the best route because you are taking classes, your ground schools, even your physics and your Englishes, stuff like that. It's all around aviation. So that's where I say, if you are getting into the aviation world, you need to kind of sit back, see what your end goal is, which I have numerous videos about. Should I get a college degree, and should I just be a CFI, certified flight instructor, or should I go straight into banner towing and such, which I'll talk about in just a second. So those are things that you need to think about. But ATP, what I just heard is that they're no longer guaranteeing flight instructing positions because there's not as many people getting their ratings anymore. A lot of people saw kind of the pandemic breakout and they stopped flying, and not necessarily because they see that the aviation world is kind of, fallen apart recently, but they just ran out of money, whether they were let go at their job and they can't afford flight training anymore. So, programs like ATP, which if you went through the program, they guaranteed you a flight instructing position, which to get your 1,500 hours, which is what you need to become an ATP pilot here at, the regional airlines in the United States, flight instructing was pretty much the #1 way to go. You would learn so much, if you can teach people something, then you definitely understand the knowledge. So that's the route that I took. I took flight instructing because that's the route that I wanted to take, and I saw that it would help my knowledge and my career in aviation the most. But there's so many other ways, and that's what I want to kind of bring to y'all's attention today, of building those flight times. I know you might see that flight instructors are being laid off, or jobs are no longer being promised in the flight instructing world, but that's simply because not as many people are going through and getting their ratings because they see that there's no longer a pilot shortage. A lot of people are scared now, and that's what this video is here for, is to help people understand that the aviation industry will come back. Traveling will come back. The vaccine is now getting rolled out. People are no longer going to be nearly as scared to fly on airplanes. And I really think that 2021 will be a flourishing year for the aviation industry, as well as hopefully for many, many others. But yeah, I think that the aviation industry will be back and better than ever. So maybe a lot of you that had the goal of becoming a flight instructor and that was your way of building flight time, I'm gonna throw some ways out there that are other ways to build flight time that maybe you haven't thought about. The first one, I'll probably get a little bit of pushback, but it's definitely obtainable. It's definitely doable, especially if you have a friend, family, someone that is going through the transition with you of getting your certificates, getting your licenses, and becoming a pilot, is purchasing an airplane. Now, in college, while I was flight instructing, purchased a Cessna 150. I know that sounds crazy. What, you bought an airplane? And this was actually like an expensive 150 because, you know, my dad knows tons and tons about airplanes. He's been in the airline industry for 36 years, general aviation and such. He knows what to look for. We have mechanic friends and we wanted a very low airframe and engine time Cessna 150. So it tended to be a little bit more expensive just because safety was like #1 priority. But you can buy, you know, a Cessna 150 for $10,000 to $20,000, which sounds absurd, but loans on something like that is significantly lower than, you know, purchasing a car or whatnot. You know, for a few $100s a month, you could be making payments for an airplane. Now, I know that sounds wild, but if you really break down everything, getting your flight time and being at the front of the floodgates when the airline industry, if that is your final destination, opens back up, you having all your time and being ready to go is everything. You know, you want to be at the front of the floodgates because there are tons of people that are flight instructors that were getting ready to get on with airlines that, you know, they just said, oh no, we're not hiring anymore. And now they're stuck there flight instructing and whatnot. So they have all their time. So going through the ranks and getting all your ratings, there's a few things to think about when purchasing an airplane. It'll be cheaper on the front end and the back end. If you have your own aircraft, you find your own instructor, and that instructor is in your airplane. So you're not paying a premium to use a flight school aircraft. Now, things come along with that I please look into. Expenses that come along with owning an aircraft, annuals, if stuff breaks, engine overhauls, you name it, avionics, it can be very, very expensive. So these are things that you need to look into, but there are certain ways and correct ways of doing that, which if you guys want me to make a video of how to purchase an aircraft, things to look for, costs to be aware of that might not be presented to you on the front end from, you know, sales agents and stuff where they're just like, oh, I'll get this young guy or girl to buy this airplane. You know, they don't know what kind of inspections need to be done and they're not thinking about the cost. They just see a $15,000 Cessna and that's it. So if you guys want a video like that, throw in the comments down below and I'll definitely be sure to break down some costs and stuff like that. So buying an aircraft can definitely help with numerous things like building flight time. You can fly it every single day. Gas in a 150 is extremely cheap, doesn't take much. So that's what I did. I flight instructed, and after I got done flight instructing for the day, me and my buddy would hop in my Cessna 150 and we'd fly across Florida and back, split gas, split in flight time. Like there are great ways to build flight time that way as well. And it's great to go out and have experiences like that I went through of having an alternator failure and a full electrical failure and having to prop start the airplane. That, you know, I never thought I would hand start an aircraft, you know, grab the prop and yank down. Like, never thought I'd be able to do that. But those are all learning experiences, and I'm so glad that I got to experience the things that I did with that airplane. Another way is banner towing. You know, sitting out on the beach, you still see banners fly up and down the beach. There are marketing people out there that want to put their company on the back of a airplane banner and fly up and down the beach. So you can banner tow. Another thing that the industry didn't suffer from in this pandemic is the cargo industry. Like I said before in this video, FedEx is about to start hiring, which means those smaller companies like FedEx Express, I'm not sure their exact names, but you'll see like a Cessna Grand Caravan, a 208B with FedEx Express. There are other companies that hire you to fly that cargo. So companies like that will hire very low time pilots, you know, 300-400 hours, but obtaining those 400 hours can definitely be difficult. So that's why finding someone that maybe you can purchase an aircraft with and get those few hundred extra hours and then turn around and sell it and, you know, try and maybe even make money. That's it. That's what we ended up doing on the Cessna 150. You just got to be very, very smart about what you get, the time, and then what you also put into the aircraft, avionics wise and such. So those are some things to look for. And then you can also, so you got cargo, you have banner towing, and this is something that I really would have loved to do, which is being a skydive pilot. I think it's so much fun watching those pilots, you know, climb up to 10, 14,000 feet. People jump out of the airplane and then they just like try. I know it's not always that safe, and there's definitely been skydiving incidents, but you got to be smart when you're a skydive pilot. You can't just try and beat everyone down to the ground, which happens sometimes. And so being a skydive pilot is definitely another route. So you've got cargo, you've got purchasing an aircraft, you've got being a banner tow pilot and skydive pilot. And another thing, which is big, especially with all the, I feel like every city I go to, there's massive like highway construction, road construction, building construction, airport construction, whatever it might be. There are companies that have to fly over that and they have grid patterns. It's surveillance companies. And there are tons of surveillance companies here in the United States that are looking for pilots. And that's another amazing way to build flight time. However, it's kind of, I would say if I were to rank it, I would do flight instructor, cargo pilot, then skydive pilot, banner towing, and surveillance. Those three are probably all in the same realm because those are most likely going to be VFR flights, and there's not a lot of stuff that can happen. You're not shooting approaches, you're not flying an IMC. So definitely cargo and CFI are like the #1 routes, but those are three ways that are perfectly fine of, you know, of building your flight time. So if you guys want more, if you got more questions, let me know in the comments below. I know this video has been a little bit longer than anticipated, but I kind of just wanted to put my 2 cents out there about what I think about the aviation world currently in its state. And also for those people that have been messaging me, the hundreds and hundreds of people on Instagram, should I keep doing it? Should I buy an airplane and such? I hope this helped you guys out a lot. If you got anything else for me, throw it in the comments below. I'll make sure to check it out. Check me out on Instagram. We're there every single day. And good luck. This year has been crazy. We're almost done. It's the 16th of December. This video is going up today. So hope we can finish this year strong. I hope this vaccine really helps shape the aviation world and bring it back and revitalize it, as well as, you know, every other industry out there. So until next time, peace.